The brain of a gazelle knows exactly how long it takes a lion to overheat. It is exactly 120 seconds. If the gazelle survives those 2 minutes, it immediately goes back to eating grass. Its stress completely vanishes. The lion, however, does not stop stressing. Despite sitting at the top of the food chain, with zero natural predators and muscles designed to kill, apex predators hide a dark biological secret that documentaries rarely show. When researchers finally tested their blood for anxiety hormones, the numbers were so backward they had to run the tests again. The animal we pity is living a life of luxury. The animal we worship is trapped in a biological nightmare. And the reason why has nothing to do with hunting. Consider the cheetah. We watch them sprint across the savanna and marvel at the peak of athletic perfection. But behind that speed is a biological business model that seems to hover on the verge of bankruptcy. Researchers estimate a cheetah burns through its daily energy budget in less than 30 seconds of sprinting. If they trip, if the gazelle turns a fraction of a second faster, the investment yields zero return. And yet, even when the hunt is successful, the transaction is not over. The cheetah is now overheating, gasping for air, physically unable to consume the meat it earned with its life force. It must wait. And while it waits, a hyena strolls over, audits the situation, and simply takes the meal away. The cheetah cannot afford the cost of a fight. To a predator, survival is not a right. It is a terrible financial investment. Wolves operate on an equally stressful corporate structure. They do not wander out and grab a snack. Observations show they run marathons through freezing snow, tracking animals that are 10 times their size. A moose is not merely a target. It is a walking fortress of muscle and bone that will actively try to cave in a wolf skull with a single kick. In human terms, going grocery shopping for a wolf is like trying to steal a sandwich from a moving freight train. One miscalculation, one broken rib, one cracked tooth, and the wolf becomes permanently unemployed. In the wild, there is no medical leave. An injured hunter is a dead hunter. Studies indicate they suffer through weeks of starvation between successful hunts, balancing the ledger of calories burned versus calories consumed. Their biological budget is stretched to the breaking point. Now look at the other side of the equation. Look at the zebra, the gazelle, or the wildebeest. We pity them because they are hunted, but mathematically they have the easiest operating costs in the entire biological economy. Their food is literally the ground they stand on. They do not have to chase grass. Grass does not outrun them. Grass does not kick them in the jaw. A zebra spends 95% of its life standing around, chewing, digesting, and socializing in the sun. They enjoy a passive income of vegetation. We might assume they live in terror, but nature has equipped them with remarkable efficiency. Their digestive systems are essentially autonomous profit centers, converting worthless weeds into pure energy while they rest. Some prey animals, like buffalo, even chew their cud, extracting secondary value from a meal they already ate. Yes, they must occasionally run for their lives, but that sprint lasts exactly 2 minutes. If they survive, their physiological state drops back to baseline almost immediately, and they go back to eating. To a prey animal, fear is a temporary tax. To a predator, hunger is a chronic debt. We assume the predator holds all the evolutionary advantages. We see the fangs and the claws and think they are the ultimate design. But fangs are expensive to grow, and claws are useless if the muscles behind them are starved. Prey animals appear to have invested their biological capital far more wisely. They have eyes placed on the sides of their heads, granting them a panoramic 360-degree security system. They travel in herds, distributing the risk of death across thousands of shareholders. The predator has to be perfect every time it hunts. The prey only has to be slightly faster than the slowest guy in the herd. It is an unfair game, rigged entirely in favor of the hunted. Most scientists stopped here. A few kept looking. They began measuring the actual physiological stress of these animals. For decades, we assumed that being chased by lions would make prey animals incredibly anxious. We pictured them living in a landscape of fear, crippled by paranoia. But when researchers analyzed the blood and fecal samples of wild animals to track stress hormones, the data revealed something astonishing. A gazelle does not sit around worrying about lions. Its cortisol levels only spike during the actual chase. The moment the lion gives up, the gazelle's stress evaporates. It does not suffer from trauma, it does not lose sleep. But the predator's stress hormone levels are chronically elevated. Research suggests a lion may face the anxiety of its next meal. It appears that a wolf operates under the stress of defending its territory. The sovereign of the ecosystem is essentially a stressed-out middle manager, hovering on the verge of missing a quota. Which animal do you think is living the worst deal in nature? Let us know in the comments below. This completely upends our understanding of power in the natural world. We worship the concept of the alpha, the apex, the untouchable hunter. We build statues of eagles and lions, plaster them on flags, and use them as symbols of strength. We never use a sheep. We never use a rabbit. But the rabbit is the one quietly winning the evolutionary lottery. It reproduces rapidly, eats abundantly, and lives a life largely devoid of chronic anxiety. Evidence indicates the lion spends 20 hours a day sleeping not out of laziness, but out of absolute physiological exhaustion. It is trying to conserve each microscopic drop of energy because it knows that failure tomorrow means starvation. It is trapped in a biological rat race. The textbook definition of a predator tells us they are the masters of their domain. But if mastery means living paycheck to paycheck, battling daily starvation, and risking death for each meal, then perhaps we need to rewrite the dictionary. Nature does not favor the one with the sharpest teeth. It favors the one with the lowest overhead. Subscribe as we uncover more hidden truths of the natural world. The next time you watch a nature documentary, do not pity the gazelle fleeing through the grass. Pity the cheetah. The gazelle is paying a quick tax. The cheetah is fighting off bankruptcy.